use your imagination and have fun with it. Set up some boundaries. Like I had someone who didn't really understand techno-wizardry, so he was like, "Oh, here's a spray can, and I can spray like a circle on the wall, and it opens a dimensional portal." And it's like, what? Because magic and technology. So the way in my mind the techno-wizardry works is that magic helps power the technology, and it also enables these ordinary weapons to have certain magical capacities. So say perhaps instead of a laser rifle or a laser pistol firing a laser beam, it can shoot bolts of sunlight to fight vampires, or it can generate some kind of other energy, but it's related to what the actual device is. So while that spray can shouldn't be able to do anything dimensional at all, you could take more like a SWAT approach or commando approach, where you have some sort of device that's like an explosive that and you have the wires connecting and the plastique, and you make that square frame, and instead of exploding it up, once you activate the device, it opens up a portal that you can
instead of blowing a hole in the wall, it blows a hole in the dimension.
Right.
Well, or like a leaf blower that does wind rush spell or something. But that's one thing people seem to misunderstand, at least with techno-wizardry, is the form and the function should still be thematically linked,
recognizable as
right. So
I think that's an important aspect, because Heathen Dog and I have been talking about, because I always have questions about the Techno-Wizard, because I've never played one, and people either say, "Oh, it's overpowered," "Oh, I don't let him in my games because it's overpowered," or, "Oh, the Techno-Wizard can't do anything, it sucks." Like there's this weird dichotomy with the Techno-Wizard that people either they hate it or they hate it, but they hate it because it's too powerful, they hate it because it's not powerful enough. Well, it sounds like what you were just saying there kind of answers that question.
Or like the globe of daylight flare. It's still a flare that you launch, but instead of a normal just chemical flare, it's a globe of daylight.
Sure.
And it's one of those things we've talked about this behind the scenes, should techno-wizards really even be a player class? Or should they just have a shop, and it's like, there's a techno-wizard here, great, kind of like finding a cyberdoc. It's like, I found a cyberdoc, I can get my cybernetics repaired because it's been 300 miles since I've seen a cyberdoc.
So many people seem to struggle with it that we're toying with the idea in the future, maybe just turning it into a NPC character, much like the alchemist in Palladium Fantasy. But we haven't decided yet. And the thing is, it gets tricky because theoretically you have a character who can create magic. So that can be overpowering if a game master doesn't rein him in, or this guy's...
And without the normal limitations of magic, the spellcaster.
Right, yeah. And as long as it has a power source that can hold PPE or ISP, then anyone can use it for a time, Magic for the masses, right? I mean,
so I can see that can be really challenging for a game master, right?
Yeah.
I gotta say, chat right now is not agreeing with you guys.
They don't like that idea. But
that's okay. They don't like most of the ideas.
If you're going for a more powerful type, magic and technology merging thing, then there's always the Mega Juicer or the in the South American source book, the Monster Hunter board magic board guy. There you go.
I was gonna say that one. There's a few that if you go look through the books, there's a few different ones that you can look at that.
Even in the Rifter, so far I've gone through 3, and we've already hit the Techno-Wizard board. I mean, it's right there. It's there. So, and there was a whole Techno-Wizard extravaganza. I give jazz.
Well, that's what I think is the tough part for some game masters, right? Is that if they're flexible and they can deal with that, sure. And in fact, with Savage Rifts, it's one of the things I got questions about all the time. What about my player wants to do this with techno-wizardry? And it's like, a lot of times they're asking it as a rules question, but because the systems are built very differently, and I redesigned the techno-wizardry system a bit, it was fairly defined in what you could do. But still, it's techno-wizardry, right? And so a lot of times what I ended up giving was more just game master advice instead of technical rules advice, because you know, sometimes that's the answer too, is just you still have, you know, we're all still playing as part of a cooperative storytelling event, right? And you know, you gotta kind of rein things in there too, because otherwise it becomes the me show.